Risotto is just one of the best dishes. I love risotto. Creamy rice, separated grains, all sorts of different ingredients added in there. It could be a side dish, it could be an entree, it could be a dessert. Do you ever make it at home? Well, in this video, I'm gonna go step by step on how to show you how to make a great risotto at home, how to do it. We're gonna talk about everything. I'm gonna share some tips along the way, and at the end, I'm gonna show you what to look for when you're making your risotto and how to get that perfect 4-star quality and finish on it. Now, if we're meeting for the first time, my name is Michael Ponzio and I make cooking videos for you. Let's talk about risotto. So there are tons of different types of rice for risotto. Do you know there's over 2,000 different types of rice? Now, the most common one is arborio rice. And arborio rice is a short, fat grain of rice, and it has an outer starch and an inner starch. Now, if you take the rice and you actually hold it up to a light, you'll be able to see that there is a kind of translucent outside, and then on the inside, you'll see something solid. So as risotto cooks, what happens is the starch on the outside breaks down, and that's what gives its creaminess. Well, the inside cooks to be al dente, and you get two different textures out of your risotto. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually get to the point where you perfectly cook the outer starch, but leave the inner starch al dente. Let's talk about what we need to make risotto. I think it's important to note that in this one, we're actually cooking with a rice called carnaroli rice. Now, arborio is the best known rice for making risotto, but in my opinion, and in a lot of chefs' opinion, carnaroli is a much better rice. So carnaroli is a longer grain of rice, so it means it has a larger inside to it as well. So as the outside starches cook out, the inside leaves you with a longer, better grain for cooking than an al dente point. Now, that also means you have less of a chance of overcooking it and turning it into just a mouthful of mush. So carnaroli rice really is the preferred one. You can find it in grocery stores. It's actually very common now. It used to be very hard to get, but now you can get it often. So let's get started making risotto. The tools we need to do this is a pot. We need some chicken stock, some diced onion, butter, Romano cheese, a little bit of oil. We need our carnaroli rice. Like I said, carnaroli rice is the ideal one. It's the one that most top restaurants are using to make their actual risotto. And I like to use a red heat-resistant spatula. Now, spatulas are very important because they have this rounded edge, so you can get into the corner of the pot as you're stirring it and as you're cooking it. Some people like a wooden spoon, which works well. I like the spatula because you can scrape the bottom of the pot too, and it's got this nice flat side for the bottom and the round for the side. So I'm a big fan of this one. I use these heat-resistant spatulas a lot when I cook eggs, risotto, most items. First thing you want to do when you do this is we're going to heat our pan up. I'm going to heat this to start over a medium-low heat, and what I want to do is just get this metal to temper and to warm up, and then I'm going to add a little bit of oil to it. I use a good olive oil when I do this because this adds flavor. We're not cooking this at a super high heat to actually lose the elements of the olive oil, but cooking it at this nice medium-low heat, all that olive oil is just going to give another layer and another dimension of flavor. So speaking of flavor, I add onions first. And I add the onions over the low heat so that they can release their sugar and they can take their time to soften and sweeten up. What I'm looking for are the onions to get translucent, because once they get translucent, once they get to that point of starting to be a little bit see-through, it means a lot of the sugars are coming out too, and that raw onion smell that kind of burns your nose a little bit, that's gone. And so that's important to make sure that we see what we're doing with this. It's important to know that you don't want the onions to burn, to get too dark. You can, and you can make caramelized onions for the risotto, which will be delicious. But what you're doing then is you're adding more fond to the bottom of the pan. Fond is that buildup at the bottom of the pan. And what that is, that's sugars from the food sticking to the pan. So if it's sticking there, then we add something heavy and starchy. That's going to add more weight to it, and that's going to give you a higher chance of burning your rice. So as my onions start to sizzle and sweat a little bit, this is the sweating method. Once we get to this point, I'm going to add my rice in. Now this is a really important step because what's going to happen is we want to coat the rice in fat and start to slightly toast it up, and that's going to dry out the outside a little bit and allow us to add a little more moisture in as well. Put my rice in and I keep it over the same medium to low heat. You see it's not super low because there's action in the pan. You can see things sizzling and moving around. But I want to see my rice start to get a little bit translucent on the outside. And when this happens, you're gonna see a much clearer definition of that inner starch I was telling you about. You're gonna see a huge difference in how it looks. Now, as this is cooking, let's talk about the next step for making the rice. It's important to know that we're gonna add liquid to this, and you can add any liquid you want. Now, I've made risotto by using 90% of the liquid is red wine. I've done water, I've done chicken stock. Today we're doing chicken stock. The type of liquid that you use to make the risotto makes a huge difference. I like to use a stock. I think a stock adds another dimension of flavor. It also adds gelatin, which when the time comes to actually mount the fat, meaning the butter and the cheese into the risotto, that's gonna help a lot. And it's gonna help you from having a greasy risotto to a rich and creamy and delicious risotto. We do about 4 parts of liquid to 1 part of rice. So for 1 cup of rice, I use about 4 cups of liquid. It depends how far I go in this toasting period originally, but I'm gonna show you a really great way to test throughout the video on how to know if your rice is at that point. So now that my rice has toasted a little bit, I'm not looking for color on my rice. I don't wanna see that the rice is loaded isn't toasted. I just want it to kind of sweat a little. I'm gonna add the first ladle of chicken stock. And now at this point, I actually turn my heat up because I want it to have much more aggressive simmer, almost to a boil. The stock is gonna start to hydrate the rice. And as it hydrates the rice, it breaks down those outer starches. Now I can make this risotto 100% from start to finish with no dairy at all, and it'll come out creamy. Here's the biggest misconception, and I can't stress this enough. Do not add cream to your risotto. There are so many cooks and home cooks and chefs that add cream to their risotto, and it ruins it. You have the starchiness, you have the starches that are gonna do the work, and on top of that, we're gonna add cheese and butter. So there is tons of dairy going into this. If you add cream, what's happening is the fat is encasing and wrapping around the grains of rice, and it's gonna cause them to steam and overcook and not cook evenly. So while you might think you have a creamy risotto, you have a very poor consistency and you won't have individual grains of al dente rice in there. So you let this sit here and boil and simmer, and you're gonna come in with a spatula every once in a while and just scrape around the sides and scrape the bottom, and that way you know that nothing is sticking. But if I sit here and work and work and work, what's happening is I'm beating the outer starches that I was telling you about, and I'm actually breaking them down faster than they should, meaning that the inside grain is not going to cook properly. At this point now, you'll see that as I pull the rice, the liquid's moving a little slower than it originally did. That's a good thing because that means that it's taking starch in, which is important. So as it takes starch on, it's going to thicken the mixture here. Now think of it like pasta water. When you're done cooking pasta, your pasta is cloudy, and that's from the starch, from the semolina and the flour in the pasta. This is a little different. This is all rice, so it is gluten-free, but it's something that you're going to see as we go through it. Once I have about 90% of my liquid absorbed, and you'll be able to tell. I mean, as you stir it, if you see that there's not a lot of liquid surrounding the rice, well then what we're going to do is add our next ladle. And we're going to do the exact same thing and let this keep going little by little. So it's important to know that when you make risotto, like I said, that old thought that you have to stand over the pot and stir it, that's not true. You need to be conscious and aware and make sure that you're moving it every once in a while so it's not sticking. If I had a really deep pot and I had a ton of rice in there, yeah, I'd probably move it more because there's so much weight pressing down. When I do risotto, I use wider pots that are shorter because that gives more surface area and more room for the actual liquid to evaporate, and it's gonna help cook the rice a little more evenly versus having all that weight compounded on top of it from using a deep pot. So now you can clearly see our rice has puffed up. It's gotten much bigger. It's absorbed a lot of this liquid, and it's getting to the point where it's almost dry. So we're gonna cook this for another minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then we're gonna be ready to actually add our fats. So what I'm looking for doneness on the rice is I want the rice grains to be plump and big, but I also want when I bite into them that there's a separation, that there's an al dente, nice, soft inner grain to the rice. And the outside's gonna be creamy and just kind of fall apart. This rice is ready to go. Now what you're gonna see here, as I take the spatula through, there are mountains of rice forming and not a lot of liquid coming out. That's really important because the less liquid that is in the pot surrounding the rice means the more fat we can emulsify into it. And we want to do that. We want to get a lot of butter and a lot of cheese in there. So we want this liquid in this rice mixture, we want the liquid almost gone and the rice mixture to be pretty much dry like steamed rice. Now at this point, once the rice mixture is dry, I'm going to turn the heat off. Now turning the heat off is really important because once I add the butter and the cheese, I want them to actually emulsify and just lace throughout it. I don't want them to get greasy and separate from the extreme heat of having the heat source coming from underneath the pan as well. The heat from the risotto is going to do everything we need it to do. There are two different elements that we're adding in. The first one is cheese, and the cheese is going to bind this, and the cheese is going to tighten up the rice even more. And it's also going to add a salty flavor and bring some of that umami-ness out. But putting the cheese in there is going to make a much stiffer, tighter risotto. After the cheese, that's when I add the butter. And the butter is just going to lace throughout and silk it out and smooth it out and make an incredibly creamy and just very succulent and delicious rice dish. So I add the cheese in, and I like to use a lot of cheese in my risotto. And I'm going to stir this until it all kind of dissolves and works its way through. And you're going to see it's going to actually cook in there pretty quickly, and it's going to stay very hot because all the starch in the rice is going to maintain and keep a lot of that heat in there. Once my cheese is worked in and nicely mixed, I'm going to add the butter. And the important thing about the butter once you put it in is to keep it moving. And by moving the butter, you're allowing it to emulsify. If I just let it sit, it's going to just kind of pool in and separate like we were talking about earlier, and it's not going to be silky and smooth and creamy. This is when we stir the rice the most. Now what happens in the stirring is all those outer starches that you still had in there that still kind of had fallen apart and softened, but they're still sticking to the rice, you're starting to release those. You're adding even more starch and more creaminess to this dish. These are all little steps to make just the perfect elegance and mouthfeel for your risotto. This is all absorbed, it's all kind of worked together and emulsified, and when I pull it, it's creamy and it moves, but it stays together. So let's get this on a plate because I really want to eat it, but I'm going to show you something when we put it on the plate, how you can tell and gauge if a risotto is great and if it's just been freshly made. So I'm going to take my risotto and put it on the plate. A really great way to test if your risotto is good and fresh, it should pile up nice and high, but when you shake it, it should just ooze smoothly on the plate. When you take a fork to it, you should be able to pull it apart and it very slowly works its way back together. You want to see some motion in there. If your risotto is old, it's going to be very tight and it's going to stick together and those cheeses have kind of clumped up and it's not going to move at all. It's not going to kind of form back together. But you also don't want it soupy when you run your fork through and it's just kind of pooling everywhere. You want to find that perfect middle ground. Well, let's dig in. I'm excited to try this. Oh, my mouth is full, I know. It's always full. One of the biggest tips and little secrets to making the perfect risotto, to get to that 4-star kind of texture and consistency, you want to know that when you eat your rice, it's like you have a mouthful of rice just covered in creamy, rich deliciousness. So you should have a full separation. You should be able to taste the different grains of rice as you're eating it. You should get those textures. And that's really that final finishing process where we start beating the risotto and working the cheese and the butter into it. That's what makes that difference. That's what takes it to the next level. So I want to hear about it. If you guys make risotto at home, leave it down in the comments. If you guys try this, you like it, leave it down in the comments. I'll get back to you. If you have any additional questions, again, down below. If you guys like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the little bell for notifications. I got a lot of videos coming out. There are so many great videos. If you like cooking steak, check out this one on how to cook the perfect steak. I have a whole array of videos on my channel. Thank you guys so much. It was great to cook with you, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.